of the waters, with the old one left behind. You have so say, I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world in grace, I see the world in gospel, I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I'm walking in the wonder, for the wonder in the wild, from wilderness to wonder.
You have so saved.
I see the world in love, I see the world in freedom, I see the Jesus way. You're the wonder in the wild. I see the world your way, and I'm not afraid to follow. I see the world your way, and I'm not ashamed to say so. I see the Jesus way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world your way, and I'm not afraid to follow. I see the world your way, and I'm not ashamed to say so. I see the Jesus way, and I'm walking in the light.
Oh, I say,
I see the world in grace, I see the world in gospel, I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I'm walking in the wonder. You're the wonder in the wild, from wilderness to wonder.
you have so saved.
I see the world in love, I see the world in freedom, I see the Jesus way. You're the wonder in the wild.
I see
The world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting with living color.
Well, it's been 3 years, or at least 3 Easters, since I've stood in front of an Easter crowd. Wow, when that hit me a couple weeks ago, 3 Easters since I've stood in front of an Easter crowd. And during this time, the truth is, we've had to focus on much more on what we lost than be grateful for what we had, because we had lost a lot having to be away from each other. And those losses over time, I don't know about you, but I can be very confessional here. Those losses over time depleted my resources that I normally went to get hope and to gain energy. You heard me make a little confession about my almost retirement in that way a few weeks ago. And then there would be that moment, we thought, okay, here we go. We're going to get started again. And then there was another halting or stopping moment. It took my breath away. I still couldn't be back here with you. And we had to navigate and negotiate so many unknowns. We had never done this before. And the many unknowns that we had to work our way through, my friends, kind of hastened a descent into those darker places. There were times I felt that hope may never return and I may never get to be at this day again. I'm so glad to see you on this day. And God forbid we have to ever go through that ever again. But the challenges that we have endured in these recent years has made it a little harder to declare our usual words about Easter hope. You know the usual words. Christ's resurrection has made our death a dead end. And those words just are a little more difficult to hear, particularly, and I'm looking at some of you who lost a loved one too soon to this virus. Don't you know? I stood beside you. I officiated at some of your services. And I know the loss that you felt was deep. And I was hesitant to look you in the eye and to say to you, one day you'll be with your loved one again, because all of us were wondering, am I next? So, the usual words of hope that would be declared on this day are not wrong. But I just felt a need to find more appropriate words, to speak to you in more meaningful ways about a hope that fits within the context of what we have just been through. So what I did, I read repeatedly the last couple of 3 weeks the Easter accounts of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Why them? They were the first chroniclers. They were the first ones to write this story down on record as they had experienced it. And as I kept reading it over and over again, I got reminded, they're called the Synoptic Gospels. I got reminded that these Synoptic Gospels had little to say that Jesus' resurrection made our resurrection possible. They didn't talk about that at all. In fact, it wasn't to the Apostle Paul who said that. And eventually the Gospel of John would say that. But this decisive event, it took place outside the purview of any onlooker. No one got to see what happened. They only saw the results of what happened. And those who were left to write it down, to tell us the story, those who were left simply were folks who had to somehow look for spiritual meaning in the story because they had no eyewitnesses to the story. And so I kept reading over and over again. You know what it began to hit me? All those accounts had 2 things in them. There was one part of the account that says, this is what happened here, and this is, I don't know what we're going to do now. And then there was that piece, and then the other piece was, oh, what's next? Where do we go from here? And the characters in the story, when you start to read it, they all are in this tension of, this is going on, what next? And I kept reading the story over and over again. And we read it a minute ago, and I think you heard it there too. It finally hit me as I've worked with way into this message. Was, my friends, what they finally did to resolve the tension was they moved from the here and now to what is next over there. And it helped me able to better say to you this morning in these turbulent waters, my friends, if we are going to move forward from this place, there are some here and now things that we have to leave behind because we're asked to go there to where new life can be found. Let's look at it just real quickly in a little more detail. Not here, we heard. Of course, it was after the Sabbath. It was Saturday night. The 2 Marys and Salome, they went to buy spices to anoint Jesus' body. His body had been placed hurriedly in that grave because it was nightfall. And placing that body hurriedly in that grave, they weren't able to do the customary preparations that ritual and grief required. And so they got up, we know the story, they got up, the sun rose, they went out to do their duty. They got there, we know the rest of the story, the stone was rolled away. They didn't know by who or how it got rolled away. Now, what they would have walked up on, some of you may have seen it, it's just a limestone cave. And inside that limestone cave, they carved slabs. Inside that limestone cave, a dead body was placed on that slab. It was left there to decompose. And when it decomposed, they would take that remains, they'd put it in a little ossuary box, it'd be put up on a shelf, next body on the slab. That's what they walked into. So they walked into, and we heard of the story a minute ago, that there was a man dressed in white. That's always a clue that there's a little divine presence, someone dressed in white. And this man dressed in white tells them, you hear that? I love this word. I spent a little time with it this week. Do not be alarmed. What? Do not be alarmed. What do you mean, do not be alarmed? I did a little word study on it. You know what it means? Do not have a bunch of emotions. I don't know if we have a word for that in English. Don't have a jumbled amount of emotions. He was just trying to understandably calm their feelings. And then he says, I know who you've come looking for. I know you've come looking for Jesus of Nazareth. Here's the first way we hear it. He is not here. Oh, no, he's risen. You won't find him here. You'll never find him here again at this place called the tomb. He's not here. I love to take folks to the Holy Land, and we do. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it again in early 23. If you want to go to Israel with me again, it's a great experience. On those tours, let me know if you're interested. On those tours, we take you to the two traditional burial sites and resurrection sites in Israel. First is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I'd just be truthful about that. That's an unholy mess of gold altars and brass and incense and burning candles and people falling all over themselves to get near that anointing stone. And then if you want to go to where the Protestants like to go, you go to the Garden Tomb. It's much more saccharine. It's kind of romantic. It's a wonderful feel, quietness. It's run by the Brits. And while both those places are historically significant and spiritually meaning, as you leave the Garden Tomb, you get to go to a gift shop. Don't you know? We go to those places. Why? Now, they are spiritually significant and historically as well. We go there thinking, maybe if I go to the Holy Sepulchre, maybe if I go to the Garden Tomb, maybe I'll find this risen Christ here. Did you hear the young man say? He's not here in this place. We look for hope in the here and now. That's just our nature of our beast. But if anything that's been reinforced in our fundamentals of our faith these last 2 years is that Christ's Spirit does not reside in one place at all. The risen Christ is not a local figure which we can go looking for. Hey, I wonder where he's at now. This risen Christ is one that if you keep trying to look for him in your own here-ness, whether it be literally or figuratively, if you keep going to those same places, you will miss the power of new life, and you'll be able to offer very little new life to those whose hopes need raising. If you keep looking here, he's not some haunting ghost that's friendly to us and we've at our beck and call. No, he's not here. Where is he? We'll see in a minute he's there. But that risen Christ was not waiting at the tomb. He's not housed in the temple of our great Jewish friends. He's not housed in this building as well. And those are the usual places we go, looking for him. But he will not necessarily be found in the place you desire, the place you want, the place you expect. Because he cannot be confined to one place where I can go and locate him and say, or I can go to this certain, I want to go to this certain experience. Oh, I pinned him in finally. He's not here, the angel said. Where is he then? Well, the text goes on to say, Jesus, the man dressed in white, whatever he may be, the man dressed in white says, he's gone before you there. Where? Into Galilee. He has gone to Galilee, to there. He went back to that place where he did 80% of his ministry. His teachings took place there. His healings and carrying took place there. Everything he was took place there in Galilee. He's gone back there. Why did he go back there? He wanted to say, guess what? I'm here for everybody and I can be anywhere at any time. He left the precincts of Jerusalem to go there. And that risen Christ calls us to go to our Galilees, whatever they may be. He's already gone before us on this day. And we can go to those places by doing what? Doing what he did, being who he is in the world. Because listen, hear this. God, we all know God's in the world, right? And when the church goes into the world, God is there. When the church doesn't go into the world, guess what? God's still in the world. You follow? God is in all the places at all the times. And that's what it means when he says he's not here. we go there to those places. The kids just shared a minute ago about their upcoming mission trip. Our middle school kids are going to be going to the Appalachian and a service project there. And our high school kids that you heard are going to Guatemala to serve those there. Both groups, I promise, they're going to come back and they're going to have experiences in both those cities. And they're going to say, guess what? Because we went there, we experienced more of the risen Christ. You can be a part of him going there. Let them hear their ask real quick in this video.
We are PFUMC students.
Our high school mission trip to Guatemala this year, we will be bringing clean air and water to the village of Santa Maria de Jesus.
We are bringing them clean air by replacing open-air home fire pits with clean wood-burning stoves that vent out the home.
In addition to the stoves, we will gift each home with a water filter so the family will have access to clean water.
These are important because clean water is difficult to come by in these areas.
By providing a family with a new stove and water filter, we are providing the homes with smoke-free clean air and water suitable for drinking.
Each stove is $200 and a water filter costs $50 each. Our goal is to raise $20,000, which will provide 80 homes with clean air and water. Every dollar counts. Please help us reach our goal by donating.
You can donate online at pflugervilleumc.org/giving by selecting the Student Guatemala Mission, or you can donate through Venmo at PFUMC Students or via check made out to PFUMC.
Thank you for supporting us as we do God's work.
With God, we can move mountains.
I love this part. Rolling credits. Trust me, be around here in July when they get back, and they'll talk about how much they found the risen Christ because they went there. Now, to those of us who have grieved, those of us who've had loss, something is absent or something has gone away in our lives. I know, just like those women and the disciples, you just wish you could find Jesus here. That's natural and that's normal. But I invite you to think about the places over there you may go, to continue in a new and a fresh way, in a risen way, what you have lost. If it be a loved one, go and do what they did well in loving and caring for. If it be an experience, go and recreate that experience. But don't stay here. Let's go there. Tombs are no place to hang around anyway, don't you know? I think let us go there to those places where the wounded can be made whole, where those who don't have homes can be welcomed back home. May we go there together. I'll see you there, right? Okay, let's go there.